fall of Cybertron takes place immediately after War for Cybertron. So we're going to pick up story-wise, like right after the events. Where the story begins, if you never played War, let me sum it up really quickly. War was all about the civil war between the Autobots and Decepticons on their home planet of Cybertron. The end result of that is fall of Cybertron, which is the Decepticons have won. They control everything except for one small, tiny little area that Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots, is in control of. And the Decepticons are bringing the waves of army against them. So the Autobots, all they're doing is building a ship, it's called the Ark, to try and take off and go into self-exile and leave their home. That's where the game's going to start.
We have no choice, Bumblebee. The war is lost. Leaving our home is the hardest decision I've ever had to make.
Everybody at the studio is huge Transformers fans. They all have them on their desks. You know, we watch the cartoons and stuff. So really it's a question of picking which ones we're going to do, like which little elements we're going to do, whether it's a VO line or a visual design or all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I think I'm a big fan of G1. Like, I really enjoyed those cartoons. And I tend to look at that as the spiritual touchstone for the game. Meaning if ever we're looking for an idea or a story hook, we always go there. Look, some of those stories were a little crazy from back in the day, right? And you watch them now. But I have such great love for it that when we look back over that old stuff, we'll pull an idea or here and we'll twist it. You know, we'll change it to be more modern and relevant. But spiritually, everything really comes from G1.
I have all the Dinobots, the old school 80s ones. I have
do
all
you
of the
do you
G1s.
have paddles?
Paddles?
Oh, yeah, there was a sixth one. Yeah, it was an elasmosaur.
Oh, no.
So maybe you don't have all of them.
Well, tell us about Grimlock, because Grimlock is one of my favorite, and tell us how he works in this game.
So Grimlock is a phenomenal character for a couple reasons. One, story-wise, he's beloved by Transformers fans, right? I mean, he's one of the most popular Transformers of all time. Super powerful, and he is really the only guy. He's an Autobot, right? He's a good guy, but he's the only one who does this with Optimus Prime. He will lock horns with him about whatever the issue is, and he's the only guy that does it. And it's really cool for showing how great Grimlock is, but also showing off what a great leader Optimus Prime is.
We cannot allow Megatron to plunder another world the way he has Cybertron.
For once, we agree.
We're a third-person shooter. There's tons of guns. You can upgrade them, and you're going to have a great time, you know, unlocking blueprints for them, all that kind of cool stuff. And you're going to play for a while. Okay, I've mastered this. I understand shooting. And then you get to Grimlock, and he doesn't have a gun. He's a brawler. He has a giant energon sword and shield, and he wades through enemies. He's like twice as big as everybody else. And so gameplay-wise, it's so fundamentally different. It's going to make you kind of change your tactics. And then the other great thing about a Transformers game is transforming. I know it sounds kind of silly. Everybody can transform whenever they want to in the game, no restrictions, and it's really part of the joy of how do I want to tackle this in my robot and my vehicle. And I say everybody can transform whenever they want, with one exception, and that's Grimlock. He can't transform whenever he wants to. He's the exception that makes the rule. We're telling his origin story. Over the course of the game, you're going to understand who he is, why he does what he does, and also how he got the shape that he got. And as that rolls out to you, his ability to transform becomes available to him. And gameplay-wise, what that means is he builds up rage. He kills enemies, he builds up rage. When his rage meter's full, he can trigger his alternate form. And then he's just a god on the battlefield, right? And, you know, so there's three great reasons. And the fourth one is the Tyrannosaurus Rex. It is awesome. I don't care if you like Transformers or not. I think any gamer's going to want to stomp around, chewing people up, and shooting fire out of their mouth. There are two big great things about online in this game. The first one is the competitive multiplayer. If you never played it, there were 4 classes based on the vehicle type, so cars, trucks, tanks, and planes. Each had its pluses and minuses. They had unique weapons dedicated to each one, but it was really well balanced and crafted, and it offered something that nobody else was. You could transform at all times, and it was just different than what else was in the marketplace. So we didn't break what's already working, but the one feature in competitive multiplayer that was not meeting fan expectations was customization. And this is the one thing that we'd said, all right, how do we turn it to 11? How do we make this be the most amazing thing ever? And I think we nailed it. What you do in character customization is every character is composed of parts: head, chest, upper arms, lower arms, legs, wings, wheels, and tank barrels. And so you put the assembly of parts together that you think looks awesome, hit the transform button, it looks great, change the parts, transform button, looks great. There are millions upon millions of combinations. On top of that, you know, you have the color stuff, which is pretty standard fare, right? But the thing that I'm super excited about that we added is we have so much metal in this world because it's Cybertron, it's all metal world. So we spent a lot of time making metals look really good. We added in the character customizer the ability for you to determine how metallic your vehicles and robot look. So you can slide it all, it's a slider bar, so you can push it all the way to one side and it's like a very flat, matte G1 look. And you take that same color, you slide it all the way to the other side and it looks like this ultra high-tech, super specular, you know, and the same color looks so different. Big Transformers fans are gonna spend tens of hours just in the menus, not even playing. You know, the other cool thing that we have in the online space is Escalation Mode is back. Escalation Mode was 4-player online co-op. Also pretty well received. You fight against waves of enemy. And what we did with that is we really looked at the core of what that was and just tightened down every little piece of that to make it an even more engaging and addictive experience. So there are 4 roles, 4 jobs you can take. There's the healer, there's the character that can drop ammo and create kind of a defensive barrier, the guy with a big shield who can draw aggro, and the guy who can throw a turret. But there's not 2 healers, there's only 1. So you really need to be working together to function as a team, and you're unlocking doors like we had in the last one, you're buying upgrades to your weapons, we added traps you can pull off, but all that is really built on if we don't communicate and we don't work together, we're not going to get anywhere. So the online experience is super fun. You have the competitive and the cooperative, 2 very distinct but really tight modes. Can't wait for people to get it.